Hello again, I'm Maurice Barratt. I've got another Life in Lockdown for you. July the 2nd. I want to ask a question. Can this really happen to me? What am I talking about? Well, you'll have to wait till we get through a few verses. I'm looking at Isaiah 40. So be patient and you'll understand the question. Well, the whole chapter is clearly about the second coming of the Lord and the restoration of Israel. But what can you and I learn from in our situation? I'll read from verse 13. It says this, asks a question, who has directed the Spirit of the Lord, or who's been his counsellor and taught him? Good question. Well, nobody. Paul asks the same questions in Romans 11:34. He's talking about nobody can know God's will unless he reveals it to us. Who hath known the mind of the Lord, or who has been his counsellor? And he's quoting, because verse 14 carries on from Isaiah, with whom took he counsel? And who instructed him, and taught him in the path of judgment, and taught him knowledge, and showed him the way of understanding? God's ways are in the sea, his ways are past finding out. We'll never know them, unless he reveals them to us. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and accounted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he takes up the isles as a very small thing. And Lebanon, that's the trees of Lebanon, and Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the beasts thereof sufficient for burnt offerings. All nations before him are as nothing, and they accounted to him as less than nothing and vanity, worthless, useless. This is how God sees them. Nothing impresses God. So God's telling us he's in perfect control of everything that happens on earth, and I believe he is. I believe he's sovereign. Well, it's important to realise in this period of lockdown, in this period of history when we're having disasters, plagues, famines, earthquakes, swarms of locusts, all sorts of things coming upon the earth. This is just the beginning of sorrows, and it's going to get worse. So it's important to know that God's in charge. Am I scaremongering and negative? No, on the contrary. It's all forecast in the Bible, so we should be rejoicing. But not in ignorance. We should know what's happening to planet Earth. We should understand that the one world order is very devious, very wicked, very satanic, and it's coming very swiftly. So we rejoice in all things, but we're not ignorant. We should show the world that we're not afraid of the things that are coming in the future. We have to be different. I'll carry on verse 18. To whom will you liken God then? How can you compare him? Is incomparable? Well, verse 19 and 20. Certainly man can't make anything that's comparable. The workman melts a graven image, and the goldsmith spreads it over with gold and casts silver chains. He that is so impoverished that he has no oblation chooses a tree that will not rot. He seeks into him a cunning workman to prepare a graven image that shall not be moved. Well, that's man making gods, but then he tells us what he's like. Have you not known? Have you not heard? Hath it not been told you from the beginning? Have you not understood from the foundations of the earth? It is he that sits upon the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers, that stretch out the heavens as a curtain, and spreads them out as a tent to dwell in, that brings the princes to nothing. He makes the judges of the earth as vanity. Yes, they shall not be planted. Yes, they shall not be sown. Yes, their stock shall not take root in the earth. And he shall also blow upon them, and they shall wither, and the whirlwind shall take them away as stubble. God's all-powerful, almighty. It's good to read these things. To whom then will you liken me? Or shall I be equal, saith the Holy One? Now God exhorts us to be joyful. Lift our heads up on high. Verse 26, lift up your eyes on high, and behold, who has created these things that bring out their host by number. This is the stars, the host of heaven. He calls them by names by the greatness of his might, for that he is strong in power, and no one fails. Why say, O Jacob, and speak, O Israel, my way is hid from the Lord, and my judgment is passed over from my God? Has God forgotten us on planet Earth? You know, God never gets tired, he never gives up, he never gets weary. Verse 28, have you not known, have you not heard, that the everlasting God, the Lord, the Creator of the ends of the earth, faints not, neither is weary. There is no searching of his understanding. And now I'll come to the question I was asking. These verses give it. He gives power to the faint, and to them that have no might, he increases strength. Could this happen to me? Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord, it doesn't mean sitting passively, that's meditation, meditating on the Lord, waiting on the Lord. This is the waiting in faith, being active. This is working hard and waiting for God to promise, to keep his promise and do what he's promised to do if we keep our part. Example, David. He was anointed, but he had to wait. He waited on God until he was king. Joseph had a dream, but he had to wait until the promise was fulfilled. The word of the Lord tried him until his time came. This is the waiting on the Lord. We don't sit passively. Well, when we believe the vision, the things God's promised us, 4 things happen. They shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Well, can that happen to me? I'm 75 in a few weeks. Well, I believe it can. I expect to do more for God in these next 10 years than I've done in the last 30. Tell me, why not? I've got this promise. It can renew my youth. I can run and not be weary. I can walk and not faint. I can mount up with wings as eagles. Why not? Well, let me read Psalm 103, verse 2 to 5. Bless the Lord, O my soul. Forget not all his benefits. What's his benefits? 5 things. 1, if he gives all our iniquities. Hallelujah, that's great. I'm saved. Who heals all my diseases. Wow, that's great. I want to walk in divine health, then I won't need divine healing. He redeems my life from destruction. 4, he crowns thee with loving kindness and tender mercies. 5, satisfies thy mouth with good things, so that thy youth is renewed like an eagle's. Wow. Well, time's gone, but go for it, saints. There's much work to do, and not much time to do it. The night's coming when no man can work. So let this pandemic, so-called, let this corona scare, let all the fake news, use it to motivate you, because worse things are coming on the earth. Let's get up off our backsides and start to work diligently for God, and God will give you the strength. God bless you. See you tomorrow for another vlog. Have a great day.